Hi everybody, Mischa here with Word of the Day, and there it is. Zoanthropy. What does this rather unusual noun, zoanthropy, mean? Well, it refers to a very unusual, quite rare psychiatric condition, a delusion that a person has that he or she is actually an animal, has been transformed into an animal. And the type of zoanthropy that we're the most familiar with really is lycanthropy. That's when a person thinks that they are a wolf. We have the wolf man in recent years, but this goes way, way back in history, this idea of a person thinking that they're a wolf. Okay, now, where does this word come from? It comes from Greek, but not in the usual way. It was actually constructed by the medical community. They just took the word for human and the word for animal, they put it together, and they got zoanthropy. And it appears for the first time in English in print in 1842 in the Dublin University magazine, discussing this very rare delusion. Okay. Now, we almost always use zoanthropy quite literally, that somebody thinks that they are a wolf or something else. But occasionally, writers will use it figuratively to describe a society that is starting to self-destruct, and that the people in that society are no longer behaving in their social settings or in their politics as decent human beings anymore. They're becoming animalistic and violent, and there's chaos, etc. And I have an opinion about that, which I'll tell you later. Okay, in the meantime, how can we use this word zoanthropy? Well, I was about to say easy peasy, but maybe not so much. Here we go. One very famous case of zoanthropy is actually in the Bible. The book of Daniel, chapter 4, verse 44. It's a description of Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian king. So he spent 7 years out in the pasture on all fours eating grass because he thought he was an ox. By the way, that's called boanthropy, if you think that you're a cow or an ox. Or how about this? I think this one is fascinating. The Bee-Man of Zagreb, 1930s. This poor guy, he was in a mental institution because he believed he was a bee. He buzzed instead of speaking most of the time. He took his blankets, and turned them into what he thought was a hive. He guarded his hive. It was, as far as I know, he was never cured, but it's quite a bizarre case. And then finally, this is my personal sentence in which I'm going to respond to those folks that use zoanthropy figuratively to talk about human beings becoming animalistic. I object to that, and here is why. We are already animals. We're smart monkeys. And as you may or may not know, primates, and not all primates, but primates are the only animals that I'm aware of that commit murder. And if you've got a dog, you know that the average dog has a higher spiritual and moral value in terms of the way they operate, well, certainly than this smart monkey. I got a lot of respect for animals. Anyhow, there you go, zoanthropy. Use it in the comments, and I'll see you later. Don't forget, you guys, if you're going to buy books, let's buy from independent booksellers. So if you pick up a copy of, say, The Complete Stories of Franz Kafka, then get it from an independent bookseller. Like the story of Metamorphosis, where the main character wakes up one morning and he's been turned into a giant bug. Now, this is not a case of zoanthropy. Why? It's no delusion. The poor guy is a bug. Anyway, so it's a great book, and here's what you do. You click above the link above or below, and bookshop.org/shop/word of the day. And I'll see you later.